Hi there, I'm Scott from ByTheBrush Miniatures, and today I'm going to talk about Idoneth Deepkin tactics. Now the first thing I'm going to talk about is a very important rule to remember when you're playing Idoneth Deepkin, and that is that any unit in your army cannot be targeted by a ranged attack unless it is the closest thing to the unit that's going to be firing on your unit. So in this little scenario I've created here, we've got some Manskewer Bolt Boys, and you can see here we've got some Namarti Thralls, which are much closer than our Morsar Guard. And it's obviously the Morsar Guard that we actually want to get in combat with these guys, because they just rip through everything that they touch, essentially. So what we've done is we've placed these sort of as a bait, maybe try and make the opponent think that we are going to end up charging with the Namarti. We're in fact not going to do that. We are going to just have our Morsar Guard slightly further away, so these guys here can't actually target them with their crossbows. So instead what we're going to do is we're going to have these retreat in our turn, just fall back slightly, and then have these charge like that. So this is just a random little example of making sure that you do remember that you can make things safe just by making them a little bit further away than another unit. The next thing I want to talk about is the Achelians. So you've obviously got the Achelian King, you've got yourself the Morsar Guard with the spears, that's a bad example because he's the musician, with the spears. Then you've got the Ishlane Guard with the swords. Now the Ishlane Guard are better for not dying, so they're really good for protecting your king. Then the Morsar Guard are better to have behind the Ishlane Guard, because if you remember that means that they can't be targeted, but the Ishlane Guard can. They're going to tank most of the shots. And then what they're going to do is you're going to have the Morsar Guard charge around the Ishlane Guard, and then have them deal all the damage. So I've just set up another scenario. I've got this Terrorgeist here just to represent pretty much any monster. The Terrorgeist is a little different because the shooting attacks that it does deal mortal wounds, and it's a bit more complex. So for this we'll just say this is any sort of random monster. Forget about it being a Terrorgeist for now, because that's a bit more specific and a little bit more advanced. So we're going to have the Ishlane Guard in the front. They're going to tank any damage, say if the monster decides to charge or something like that. In this scenario we'll say it does charge, so it charges in and gets in combat with the Ishlane Guard. So they're going to have to tank it for one turn. Hopefully they survive, because it's what they're for, surviving. And then in the next turn, very simple, what you're going to do, you're going to have the Morsar Guard charge round. In the same turn, if you feel like it, before they charge, you could also have these guys retreat from combat and then have the King go in there as well. Depends how risky you want to be with the King, but the King can deal a lot of damage if you use him correctly. The next thing I'm going to talk about is using the Isheron Soul Squire. So the thing with the Soul Squire is that you can choose one unit at the beginning of the game, just before the game starts, and that unit can essentially come on as reserves from any battlefield edge, along with the Soul Squire. So what we've got here is a scenario where you can see that our three Namarti guys here are a little bit swamped by these cruel boys. If you like the pun, leave a like and subscribe. So what we're going to do is we're going to give them some backup that the cruel boys may not exactly be expecting. So in our movement phase, what we've done is we've brought on the Soul Squire here along with a unit of 10 Namarti Thralls. Now it's important to remember that he's got to be 9 inches away from enemy unit, but this doesn't mean the charge is as hard as it sounds, because the Soul Squire actually makes charging a lot easier for Namarti Thralls here. So what they're going to do is they're going to make the charge against the cruel boys, which is going to be a lot easier to pass, but just bear in mind that it's not going to be a guaranteed charge, it's just going to be easier to pass than normal. So you can see now we've got the Namarti Thralls here, and we've totally outflanked the cruel boys, and I'm sure that they're going to meet their demise very soon. Now I'm going to show you a very easy way to score early game objectives. So you can see we've got an objective marker just there, and we've actually just deployed our units. So let's say we get the first turn or the second turn, it's not going to matter too much. Now, Namarti Reavers are very, very fast, so make sure you do get some of them, and you can get them to essentially just run. If you have to advance as well, you can go ahead and do that, but try and avoid it if possible, but just get them up to that objective marker, because they're very fast, so they're going to probably make it. Whereas these guys here, they're not quite going to make it, so it's going to take them a turn or two to actually get there. So you can see now that they've taken that, they just need to hold that for at least one turn, and I think a whole unit of 10 of these guys should easily be able to do that, depending on what they're going up against. So you might want to give them some backup, maybe like some Ishlane Guard. If you're worried about these guys getting in there too fast, maybe go for an objective marker that's a little close to a battlefield edge and use an Isheron Soul Squire to try and get these guys a little bit closer to start with, so they're only 9 inches away. But then when you get to this point, you're safe to move the Reavers off the objective marker, perhaps to go and get another one, or proceed with the next tactic I'm going to show you, and then you can move the Namarti Thralls onto that objective marker. So you can see here we've got a situation where we've got a really depleted unit of Namarti Thralls about to get charged by this massive unit of Hobgrot Slitters. Now the thing is, with these massive squishy units, it's something that Reavers can actually deal with very well. So what you want to do is you just want to get them so they're 9 inches away exactly. You can see that the trouble's about to happen here, so you want to run them in as quick as you can. So once you've got them that they're 9 inches away, this is the range where they can actually fire 3 shots from their bows each. So that's going to be 30 shots into this unit of Hobgrot Slitters. So hopefully that's going to whittle them down to sort of at least this on average. You're going to get rid of 2/3 of them. And it's going to leave a unit of 6 guys. This is on average, like sort of a guess about the outcome. Because obviously dice rolls can't exactly be... Fuck, I'm getting the word. Just edit this like massive gap out while I think of the word. Precisely foretold. So hopefully this will be something that this depleted unit can actually deal with, because Namarti Thralls are often very underrated, which is another thing to bear in mind. And while we're talking about depleted units of Namarti, something to talk about is the Isharan Soul Render. This guy's really good because it means that in your Battle Shock phase, if he's near a unit of Namarti, this can be Thralls or Reavers, you can just start to slowly but surely bring them back. Maybe you want to hide them in a corner and just make sure that you are getting them back up to their full strength. If you can't manage to do that, then at least he's going to give them a few more bodies to deal with the threat that's depleting them, and hopefully that's going to help you hold some objectives and win some games. Now, if you enjoyed this video and want to see more videos like this, please leave a like and subscribe. We've got plenty of videos on our channel that I think you'd enjoy. If you want more tactics videos, just leave a comment letting us know which faction for either 40k or Age of Sigmar you want to see a video for, and we'll get to doing that. And there's also a Discord that you can join for free. Down in the description below, you can chat with us, and you can also send us your projects, and we'll do a reaction video in the future where we can have a look at all of them. And you can also support us on Patreon, where we'd obviously appreciate a lot of our support. There's a lot of benefits for a very cheap price. You can also take a look at our Instagram with the link in the description as well. With that said, we'll see you later.